We're live.
Ciao,
We're live.
ciao, dosto. Yes, we are live, and guess who we have with us today? India's favorite gunner, Daksh.
Favorite तो पता नहीं, but
अरे favorite भाई
definitely a
favorite
gunner
you
for
are
sure.
you are probably the most popular gunner I know in India and जैसे अजय ने बोला था last time more now I think you're more popular than Ranveer Singh also.
Oh
So
my God.
Daksh, how are you, man? How's it going?
It's all good, man. Good time to be an Arsenal fan, as I always say. It's actually been, if you see the last 3 or 4 years, it's actually been a good time to be an Arsenal fan in general. And of course, bhai, it's more fun right now. Can't really complain, brother. In terms of my personal life, things are good. In terms of being an Arsenal fan, things are good. Top of the Prem, top of the Champions League, semi-finals in a cup comps. So everything is good, man. Tum batao, how is it going with you?
Arey, and amazing, and you know how much our team plays a big role in how our mental health is
Yeah.
or how our week goes. And I'm telling you, Daksh, at this age also, 38, 39, it still is so important because यार
Yeah.
वो एक संडे नाइट खराब जाती है ना बाद में पूरा वीक लगता है अरे थोड़ा ऐसा हो गया होता एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू दक्ष आई सॉ योर rant by the way I totally
After
agree
the
with you
Forest
after the
wala game,
yes
yeah.
and I was like अरे दक्ष वही कैलकुलेट कर रहा है यार कि why Madueke and why Martinelli in a low block and I would like to tell you something. Today, I was traveling by a local train. I was going to Ghatkopar to meet Ajay and DJ. We had some
Hmm.
important meeting to discuss. And I was in a train and I met this one guy. I hope he comes live. And he was a 21-year-old kid. And he asked me, Up Chintan ho, Calcio Charcha? I was like, yeah. So
Nice.
I said, I know you are you are an Arsenal supporter, as in you are thoda Arsenal bias. I said, how do you know
You're a
that?
closet Arsenal fan.
Yeah. So he said, yes, I love Arsenal. I've been an Arsenal fan in the past 7 8 years. So I asked him, Daksh.
Hmm.
Guess what he told me? He said,
What?
Daksh ko kaun nahi janta? And I told him, and that is the time I was listen. Then you better come live, watch
Yeah,
us,
yeah, yeah,
because this is going to be an interesting preview.
yeah.
But before we go to the match, Daksh, being
Hmm.
of course, as you said, a closet Arsenal fan, maybe
Hmm.
भी दो तीन questions है यार. Daksh, do you think with this city kind of halting और बोल सकते थोड़ी breaks लग गई है उनकी challenge पे? Do you
Hmm.
think Arsenal kind of lost an opportunity, two draws? Do you think, or would you take a draw against Liverpool in general?
Against, yeah, it's kind of like one of those situations where, being 7 points clear is obviously good. It's obviously not as good as being 9 points clear. And I don't think any Arsenal fan is upset at being 7 points clear. I think they're just upset at the fact that the manner in which nine could have been achieved, whether it's beating Liverpool or Forest. Hey, Param.
Hey,
What's
Uh,
hello,
up?
Param.
What's up? How's
when
it
the
going?
manner, yeah. So I was just saying that the manner in which it could have been done, I think that is something just infuriating, because I think it's everything is guided by a lot of this PTSD lens of whatever's went down um in the last 2 or 3 years. Some of it in our control and some of it beyond our control. Like, for example, in the first season when we were in the title race, we lost two key players in one game, and then the title challenge essentially collapsed,
Yeah,
in terms of Saliba and Tomiyasu. The year
yeah,
after that, we played, I think, a second half of the season. The last 18 games, we played a record of 16 wins, one draw, and one loss. And it was not enough because City had a record of 17 games, uh, one draw, zero losses. So
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
ended up winning the league by like 2 points. Right. And last season, of course, was just a terrible season all over. So I think a lot of PTSD carries however we feel about it. But I think there's a very small, reluctant, but the silent acceptance that nobody's really at their best this season, and we are
Yeah,
just somehow out of the entire crowd the most consistent somehow.
yeah,
um,
somehow.
and so in that context, I think there's this silent acceptance ki, like, this could be it. So I'm also getting slightly more confident, but of course, by nothing is easy. This league in general, in the this season in the Premier League, is a very weird one, because I think the big six have in general been much worse than they ever have been, and the remaining
Yeah,
14 teams have actually been really, really good. I was just reading the stat where every previous champion, from this to the last 6 years, has a away win percentage well over 70%. uh,
Wow.
up to 80%, 85%, even up to 90%. This season, Arsenal has the best away win percentage, and it's at 55%. So, in general, all teams at home, no matter where they are really, really good, and they don't shy away from punishing all these other teams. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing to see यार. पर मैं वही डिस्कस कर रहा था एंड just talking one more thing. एक simple चीज दक्ष, I read it somewhere. I have one
Yeah.
Arsenal fan who is probably the most optimistic guy you'll ever meet. Guess what he said? I don't care as long as we keep matching City's result. If we
Yeah.
keep doing what we do right now, matching City's result, we are winning the title. So in hindsight, I think that makes sense. And as we talk about Arsenal being top of the table, and we have look at Param's smile, because here Param is top of the
Param's also
table
top
too.
of the table, man.
Yeah, but margin kam hai thoda. We are sneaking in.
One,
So
3 points wala margin उधर.
हाँ,
Yeah.
the thing is यार, मेरे पूरे jerseys collection पूरा पड़ा है actually कैपेचिनो पे चर्चा के स्टूडियो पे, वरना I was going to don my best Arsenal jersey because but यार इधर Daksh, I'll just before we move get in, I was like मैं तो Arsenal को finals तक sorry मैं Inter को finals तक support करूंगा, because the deeper they go in the Champions League,
The more
better for
they
me
can get
यार.
distracted. Yeah.
Yeah, the more they get tired, yeah. But let's move into the game.
Hmm.
I'll start with Param first, you, because Arsenal are kind of comfortable, यार. अभी थोड़े comfortable
Yeah.
position पे बैठे हुए हैं.
Hmm.
Pretty league form थोड़ा पिकअप हो रहा है, players भी थोड़े लग रहे हैं, form में आ रहे हैं. So
Yeah.
Param, 2 games left. Top 8 is paramount, right? क्या बोल रहा है Param? Finishing top 8 is utterly important for Inter right now.
First of all, yeah, glad to always have Daksh bhai on the channel and another collab here. And obviously last year ये match हुआ था, अलग scenario में अलग अलग चीजें थी. At least we had a different coach, whatnot. But coming to your point, yeah, obviously paramount here, because we won the first 4 games. Obviously they were relatively easier clubs to play, but 12 points was it. And उसके बाद से obviously that big team syndrome जो इस season रहा है Inter का has continued, where we have not been able to beat a so-called big team. And we lost to obviously Atletico Madrid, and you saw how we lost that game, last second goal literally, where we should have probably even won that game. We had the chances to win it. वो था Liverpool वाला game, तो like that game, तो I don't even know how. I mean, you can say controversial penalty, yes, whatnot, but we still should have done better over there. So, I mean, league form wise, I'm very happy because Christian Chivu, जैसे मैं बार बार बोलता हूँ इस चैनल पे, जब उसने इंटर के लिए एज अ कोच साइन किया था, he only had 13 matches का experience, and that is literally like a big change from Simone Inzaghi. And then to be top of the league with all the squad changes we made, at least some of them, and not giving Chivu exactly all the players he wanted is testament to Chivu, I would say, because आसान काम नहीं है. मैं बार बार बोलता हूँ कि there is no reason for a Lautaro Martinez or a Hakan to respect someone like Christian Chivu just because he's an Inter legend. Because as a coach, he's new to the job. He's new to the scene, right? So he's done a fantastic job. There are some things I prefer. There are some things he does I prefer to what Simone Inzaghi ever did, like his man management. He rotates the team better. He gives youth more chances. Something Simone Inzaghi didn't do as well. So I'll come to all that. But league के हिसाब से तो खुशी हुआ, and obviously paramount है because Arsenal. I mean, obviously I feel they've, while Daksh bhai did say that obviously Premier League में इस season kind of teams have been stumbling, but I do feel Arsenal have generally matured up a lot. And the last season, whatever happened with them was at least key experience to grow this season, and that's why they are top of the Champions League with 18 points. It's as simple as that. So it won't be easy. जो last season था, obviously हमने team rotate की थी, खेला था Arsenal के against, but I feel this will be a much more mature Arsenal side to play. And then when you see you have to host Arsenal, and yeah, Dortmund are not the most convincing side, but then going away to them, given Inter's current record of not being able to beat big teams, is a challenge. So top eight is paramount. Because those 2 games you want to avoid. And Inter का already schedule ऐसा नहीं है कि hectic नहीं है. Chintan bhai, both our clubs played the Super Copa, so it's added tension. So you don't want to play those extra 2 games, but yeah, hopefully ये दो last के 2 games में कुछ तो करके top 8 कैसे तो पहुंच जाएगा.
Yeah. Guys, we'll keep taking your question. I've marked one question because Daksh will get to the lineup for lineup very soon. Daksh, I would like to touch upon this one topic which of course you spoke upon previously, and last season of course I think वो एक header goal ही था, एक set piece goal था against Inter, and of course इंटर ने मारा था against Arsenal, and I
नहीं
think
नहीं,
this
लास्ट
season
सीजन तो
And
वाज अ
penalty,
पेन.
penalty, penalty,
penalty था,
Hakan.
yeah, penalty था, yes, Hakan था
मिकेल
penalty, but
मेरिनो ने, आई थिंक इट वाज अ फ्री किक जिसमें इट वाज वन ऑफ दोस
Handball,
यूएफए चैंपियंस लीग
handball.
हैंडबॉल पेनल्टीज
Yeah,
yeah, I think
handball.
that,
वेयर लाइक
Imagine for Sika.
डिफ्लेक्शन की वजह से इसका हाथ
yeah,
ऐसा था, इट टुक हिम एंड देन आई थिंक हाकान बेरिड इट. या
Yeah.
सो
yeah. So that
That
as he said,
that's one big thing, by the way. Hakan is not and Dumfries are not
Hakan is
available.
not. Yeah, I heard.
Dumfries is out till
Dumfries
March.
not being there is massive, because Dumfries was, I think, last year Inter's one of the players of the season. But
Hmm.
Daksh, I saw your reel, and I really agree with you, because I do follow Arsenal closely.
Hmm.
Daksh, are we worried about Arsenal's goal scoring right now? And my biggest question to you, of course, before we get to that, is, as an outsider, I would be kind of worried for Martin Odegaard, or either he's not fully fit, or
Hmm.
you are overly reliant on him. What do you think? Malab, isme, I just love your take on that, especially.
Yeah, I just think the way the game has evolved in the Premier League now, it's sort of not going in favor of how Martin Odegaard plays. He's a sort of, I'll keep the ball, I'll dictate the tempo, I'll slow it down, and then I'll play a pass or I'll keep it ticking around. That's not the sort of way the Premier League is going. It's going more intense. It's going more, players should have the running power. Once they get the ball, they should be able to zip a ball to a free player. वो मार्टिन ओडेगार्ड का गेम अनफॉर्चुनेटली अब नहीं रहा है. He gets the ball, he turns, he likes to see what's happening, then make a calculated decision. He's a very intelligent footballer, but he requires time.
Yeah.
If you compare that with somebody like how Kevin De Bruyne used to be, or how Bruno Fernandes is, for example, these guys get the ball, they turn, they run, and then on the fly they make that decision much more quicker, and they're much more lethal, is what I feel. So that is the sort of player that Martin Odegaard is not, and I think that is just the game just passing him by. Now, do we have a player like that? Probably not, actually. A lot of people think Eze is like the direct upgrade over Odegaard in that sense, but I think Eze is also one of those players who will turn and run, but he will also take time to make that
Yeah.
decision. One player that can be that player eventually will be Ethan Oneri, but as we found out, he's being loaned out to Marseille this
Yeah,
tomorrow. So it's just unfortunately very sad that our main creator is basically the game has passed him by. The meta of the
Yeah.
game right now is just passed him by. And so the responsibility comes on other players like Zubimendi, like Saka, to take on that creative burden and essentially be that player. One more way you can combat that is through other smaller combinations. You don't have to have a Bruno Fernandes like player, but a lot more players have to be involved in small space combinations like that. Unfortunately, you need that striker to be that player, because either you invert one player from defense into midfield and make up those numbers, but I think that's very counterintuitive, because a defender essentially should not be a creator, right?
Yeah.
You can also have your attacker who can combine, but I don't think Gyökeres is that player either. So right now I think we have a team that can find the solution in some other way, maybe a set piece, maybe a moment of magic from Saka, or maybe a moment of magic in the Champions League has it been from Martinelli or Trossard. So the solution is something else, but not the way we really want to play football. And I think that's fine. Goal scoring is obviously an issue, but I think there's a lot of caveats that we can go into, but I think that will just sideline the conversation into a completely different. Mere hisab se, I think I feel a little bit more for Gyökeres. I think goal scoring in the Prem in general has gone down. And I think set pieces in general have gone up, because those are the things that the defenses are essentially too good in the Prem. The defenses are too good, they're too physical. If you're not a prime athlete or a freak athlete, you will be struggling to overcome these defenses. You could have at least one solid 1v1 strong defender in every Premier League team. One player who I would feel will dominate in many other leagues. For example, I'll give you Jakub Kivior, you must know, of course. He was
Yeah,
our
of course.
third choice centre back. He's gone to Portugal and he's turned out to be the best centre back in Portugal. He's had the most passing completions, he's had the most tackles, he's had the most duels. He's basically rank one on everything, every metric.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And he's a third choice centre back. And sure, we know the Portuguese league is not the league. But that is also a case for, I would say, if Kivior ended up going to France, I think Ethan Oneri's role in France will be very interesting as well. So I think defenses are too tough, and I think attacking wise, Gyökeres has had to basically make up for absences of both Havertz and Jesus earlier in the season, and I think he's not got that bedding in period. This is why all top clubs are going for Premier League proven players. Manchester United bought 2 Premier League forwards in Mboma and Cunha. Man City are going for Semenyo, who is not a Pep Guardiola-esque player. Pep Guardiola doesn't like these players. Pep Guardiola goes for the other technically more sound, and but Semenyo is more of a beast, right? He's gone for Mark
Yeah.
Gahey as a defender. So it's gone into prem proven, prem ready, adaptation period, absolutely minimum, and all these things. So that's what we have to do. Um, so इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि goal scoring is an issue, but we're just finding solutions in different way, and I'm completely okay with that.
यार गुड गुड टू नो दिस दक्ष का मतलब सुन के ऐसा लग रहा है आई थिंक ही इज राइट अबाउट प्रेम प्लेइंग इन अ पर्टिकुलर वे एंड Param, I would like to ask you this question. Inter, since the past 2-3 seasons under Inzaghi, has always played in a very different style. You know, pretty much what probably I think two managers I would like to say here. One is Gasperini and one is Simeone Inzaghi. They have played in a very different way, which kind of helps to just a Premier League खेलती है. Because I remember last season जो City versus Arsenal था, City versus Inter का game था, Inter could have won that game actually at City. And because the quick counter, I think Zielinski ने अच्छा chance miss किया था. So do you think when it comes to a European competition, you of course the pace of Arsenal will be in a certain way. Do you think Chivu needs to prepare Inter in a very different way that Arsenal will come at you? So you have to be Serie A में तो Inter is a team which usually attacks. Do you think Chivu will prepare them कि नहीं इधर sit back थोड़ा करना पड़ेगा because you can't match Arsenal's stamina?
I mean, उसने starting ही season में बहुत try किया था because when he came in, his goal was to kind of play a very at least a bit more intense of a 3-4-2-1, 3-4-1-2, which जैसे मैंने बोला, for which he needed 3 more players. He wanted a Lookman, he wanted Manu Kone, and he wanted a centre back. At least we should have signed 2 out of 3, which being 2 of those being a centre back and a defense and a Manu Kone type player, if not Manu Kone. So वो big misses थे because you know that your defense has generally your older players have gotten slightly older, obviously, and थोड़ा physical regression है इस season Inter में, which is natural. That is on the management who have not signed a center back, being arrogant, whatnot. So he always wanted to play a much more aggressive game in general. But in early on in the season, he realized that कि हाँ भाई मेरे को थोड़ा mix up करना पड़ेगा. It's not that simple because whenever I get these players mostly next summer, this coming summer. So वो mix up करेगा. देखो, as you said in the Serie A, we play on the front foot like we have a perfect record against the mid table and the bottom table teams, right? Like last season, like we are beating them left, right, center. That's because we create tons of chances from the get go. मतलब पहले 10 मिनट में ही 4-5 क्लियर कट चांसेस आपको दिख जाएंगे. वो एक अलग स्टोरी है कि इंटर आल्सो मिसेस टन्स ऑफ चांसेस. अगर आप चैंपियंस लीग में I was just checking to just reconfirm my doubts. अगर आप देखोगे सबसे ज्यादा बिग चांसेस इंटर ने क्रिएट किया 33 and big chances missed also is also Inter 23. So we are on top of the table for those reasons at least. And second, you have Bayern for big chances and Liverpool for big chances missed. So point is we will regardless. I feel the intention of Chivu will be to kind of create these chances. Now again, today's game will be impacted with there being no Hakan, there being no Dumfries. But again, मैं देखूं Zielinski is in very good form. The only thing is, as you said, Chivu will have to balance it out, and I think he will because Hakan just जो defensively जितना अच्छा करते हैं, Zielinski उतना है नहीं अच्छा defensively. So you will see a lot of variation. You will see Barella in the number 6 role, and this is my future prediction, which I keep saying that Barella will become a number 6 once Hakan leaves, or at least next season onwards, because he's losing his intensity as a player because of he's played too much. So basically you will see Chivu try to mix and match because again you don't have a Denzel Dumfries. If Bisek starts, you need to make sure you're protecting someone like a Bisek because he's not. Chinder may watch Bisek. He has a lot of lapses defensively randomly, so you have to protect him. Then you on the right wing back you have Luis Enrique, who's not had the greatest of times at Inter, so who's still adapting. So point is, usko balance out karna padega. I don't think he will be as defensive as Simone Inzaghi, and again there is nothing wrong even if he is. I feel because it's just in his nature that he likes to take the game to the opposition regardless. But उसको पता है, देखो मेरे पास defend, like let's say my defenders don't have the speed to try back. Now, one good thing here is what he did is he started benching Acerbi and De Vrij. He's playing Akanji as the center back and Bisek as the right center back. So two of these do have decent tracking back speed to kind of cover up, for the wingers and whatnot. Like Akanji has been fantastic. I'm sure Daksh Bhai must have also heard. Akanji has been brilliant. Inter have also already decided to redeem him this
Hmm.
come this summer. So the only thing is, yeah, Bastoni again, he's been playing at a very high level, but he's not been playing at the standard we are used to. He's been making a lot of weird errors. So वो एक है. Uh, I feel he will mix and match it up. Like midfield, mein, I feel is where I personally feel Arsenal will have the edge because again, my predicted lineups पे आएंगे as of now, as of this
Mhm.
very moment. Sucic is expected to start along with Zielinski and Barella. But I think wing backs and all is where we can kind of get to them. But again, remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But again, to answer your question very simply, yeah, Chivu will mix it up. There is no two ways about it. Like you will see the typical Lautaro Martinez drop deep, work hard, try to hold the ball, and yeah, let's see how it goes because again, I'm seeing in the predicted lineups Marcus Thuram will start, but Marcus Thuram has been very off lately. Like he feels like he doesn't give it his all. Like he's just very lethargic on the pitch. Ek do push mein he easily gives up on a chase. I would rather see Angie on Bonnie or Pio Esposito start. To be honest, I don't want to
Hmm.
see
Yeah.
this version of Marcus Thuram start. So lot of
क्या
doubts.
क्या
Lot of
spoil
doubts.
for choices. It is so amazing when you मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, look how I'm just looking at this how tables have turned where Inter के पास जो forwards का lineup है Daksh,
Yeah.
it's Lautaro, Thuram,
Thuram,
Pio
Bonnie.
Esposito and
Yeah.
Bonnie. For
Yeah.
any they would walk into probably any club Daksh
Oh,
and look
I
at
would have loved
Arsenal's.
Pio Esposito, man. He's such a good player. I really like Esposito. But
Yeah.
Param, एक बात बता, like
हाँ.
you have, I think your next game, even though I think it's Pisa, right? It's on Friday, if
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. So you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have like, yeah, thankfully you're home right now, and I think Pisa is also at home.
Yeah.
So you have like 2 days to prepare for that after this game, right? Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you, do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think you'll go for like, oh, like Serie A mein Milan is just like what 3 points behind,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so do you think it's going to be like rotated with an eye on Pisa, or you'll be like, nahi, Champions League mein we'll
So
figure it
नहीं.
out versus Dortmund, but
See,
Pisa wala bhi.
आपका क्वेश्चन तो बहुत अच्छा है बिकॉज अगेन जैसे मैंने बोला आपके दो पीसेस तो इंजर्ड है हाकान और डम्फ्रीज एंड इट्स नॉट लाइक दे रिटर्निंग अगेंस्ट पिज़्ज़ा पॉइंट इज आई थिंक पिज़्ज़ा के अगेंस्ट थोड़ा और रोटेशन होगा बिकॉज जैसे देखो यार वी विल नेवर टेक आर्सेनल लाइटली Chivu will not do that. Chivu takes it game by game. It's very simple. वो गेम पे जो गेम एट हैंड है, I know it's a very cliche thing to say, but he's very serious about taking it game by game. Like उसको अगर जहाँ लगता है मेरे को करना है तो ही करेगा चेंज, नहीं तो नहीं करेगा. एंड tonight again as per we'll get to the predicted lineups, but tonight pretty much most of the क्या बोलते हैं best 11 is expected to start barring the injury issues and whatnot. Like again, as I said, Bastoni is expected to start. Thuram will get back into the starting 11. And Pisa के against, I think he will rotate, even though he knows कि relegation battling teams के against ये time पे कभी खेलना आसान नहीं होता है. Anybody can just show up and get a result, even if it's Pisa or whatever. So, but again, as I said, Chivu का Daksh bhai, the biggest Chintan bhai, you also have noticed this. The biggest advantage with Chivu is he rotates the team more, unlike Inzaghi. And it comes out of trust. Simone Inzaghi ka, again, I'm not taking jabs at him, but he would bench a lot of good players. Like last season we had Mehdi Taremi. I feel he could have used Mehdi Taremi more, and he wasted Mehdi Taremi, and then Mehdi Taremi is out of the club. Zielinski has much more confidence now. He's playing regularly week in, week out without any injuries. Hope I've not jinxed it now. But point is, point is, he trusts players more, and he knows a lot of these young players. You know, a lot of the young players like Pio Esposito, he's coached since the age of 14. When Pio Esposito was 14, he was been coaching the Inter Primavera since the under 14 level, every level. So he has more familiarity within the Inter ranks. That's the
Yeah.
biggest plus point. In the Coppa Italia, he fielded players from the youth team. So point is, ये बड़ा advantage है कि उसको rotate करना आता है. So I technically, even if he today plays like a full strength 11, I'm fine. Like मेरे को कोई problem नहीं है because मुझे पता है उसको squad reading आती है, उसको rotation करना आता है. Unlike Simone Inzaghi.
And plus
मेरा
Daksh,
यही
I
है
think
because
सबसे बड़ा point है for them getting into top 8 is more paramount. So I think for them winning against Arsenal would be taking the Dortmund game a little relaxed, and plus they are playing at home. So I guess that plays a big role. Yeah.
I remember seeing the game versus Liverpool, and that was not a great performance from Inter. Not at all, bhai.
Horrible
What
game.
were they playing at that time? मुझे बस यही है कि like considering the fact that we also have Manchester United at the weekend, and we've seen what Man United did, right? I have a feeling we'll rotate, but not like a full wholesale changes or a rotation. I think it will be like a 50-60% rotation, but even those rotated options would be very, very good. For example, I think left back pe Miles will come back in. We'll talk about the whole lineup. Miles will come back in. Eze might come back in. I'd be very surprised if it's Gyökeres again. I think it'll be Jesus or Havertz. And I think Martinelli will start another game because he's in absolutely crazy form in the Champions League.
Champions League Martinelli something else भाई मतलब वो
Why
तो
he
कुछ
scored in
और
like
है.
5 consecutive games?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Is
And
that the Arsenal record?
it's a,
I think.
yeah, it's an Arsenal record. I think it's a Champions League. I think also something like consecutive league
Oh
phase, maybe
God.
something like that. But also I think some of the staples will be there. I think Declan will be there. I think Gabriel
Yeah, yeah.
Saliba will be there. Raya will be there. Mosquera might play. I don't know uska kitna role hoga. But we want to keep that defensive record up. We've only conceded 1 goal. I think Inter conceded like 4. So
Yeah,
both of our
yeah.
teams are good at defense. There is going to be an element of set pieces being there. But my only fear is like both teams. I don't know about Inter, but I can talk about Arsenal. I just feel ki we'll be essentially in second gear. So
Yeah, yeah, I
if
mean, I
it,
have a feeling it's gonna be
yeah,
second
it's
gear.
going to be a second gear wala thing. Like you put out your team, but you don't really go for it. You do good enough to keep them out. You try to find a goal somehow. नहीं आया कोई बात नहीं. मतलब you're unbeaten. It doesn't really change too much for us. Our next game at home, the final game in the Champions League is Kairat Almaty at home.
Correct, exactly.
Right?
Exactly, it's relatively
We
easier.
can wrap up top 8 in there. Like there's a very
Although,
small scenario ki like you lose Inter also and you lose Kairat also and then you're out of top 2. उसमें भी तुम top 8 रहोगे. But I think we want to stay top 2
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
because
One
The
it's
question for
season is
guaranteed
as
home.
one
Yeah.
question
go
for
ahead,
both
Chivu.
of you guys. I think Rohit
Hmm.
Rajiv put a very interesting question. Pep has changed track from being purely positional to play someone who will break the lines. Like, as in, do you think both of you guys that Pep in general has also changed the style of play football and generally Premier League और general जो notion था एक टिकी टाका फुटबॉल का सेरिया में तो ऐसा नहीं होता है सेरिया में there are Daksh you'll see a lot of different variations
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
football and the managers are different and Italian managers you know
Hmm.
how they are. Do you think the general essence of the league Premier League in general has changed?
Yeah, of course. I think in general in Prem, the meta has become that smart teams can always punish rich teams. You would have players, mere hisab se, who can take a half chance and absolutely beat you. And I think City last season and City this season are good examples of this.
Hmm.
Um, I think Pep has had a very stable squad since the treble win, and he's not changed out much of these guys. But I think last season दिख गया था कि ये नहीं चलने वाला है. मतलब teams will come, teams will overrun you, and especially if you end up missing one key player also, खत्म. मतलब then they'll overrun you. You'll have teams with Mitoma and Minte absolutely dominating your fullbacks. क्या
Yeah.
करोगे, right? You could spend 50-60 million on your fullbacks, but if Minte and Mitoma are on it, they're gonna kill you at Brighton. ठीक है, Everton आपको किल कर सकता है. It's tough. Like I remember when we were playing Wolves at home, भाई it took 2 own goals
It,
to beat them.
yeah, pretty
It
late
took
also.
yeah, it took 2 own goals to beat them. Wolves are bottom of the league, right? Burnley just held Liverpool, who yes, you might say they're not in good form, but come on, man, they've got some absolute world beaters in that squad, and
Yeah.
Burnley held them. Burnley held them to a 1-1. So
Yeah.
yeah, the entire essential meta is that if you there is a Guardiolism. I read this very nice. There's a Guardiolism that was very prevalent in the Premier League, and everyone tried to copy it.
Yeah.
But now there's like sort of this very big pushback towards like बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया. So it's like how you say in society and culture and politics that there was this very big time from the mid 2010s to the 2020s where wokeism was
Yes.
where you say there was a lot of wokeism, and then there's now anti-wokeism, and now it's just turned into this very weird sort of
Hmm.
Mixture of
red
both. Yeah.
pill fascism kind of weird situation. So you're like, okay, maybe this is too much. So I think right now we're just in that sort of mid period where football is trying to figure out what it is. And so the
Yeah.
most reliable strategies in football, which is set pieces, smash it, run it, those are the things that are working. We're probably going to wait towards the next meta of what really football should be,
Yeah.
because it's obviously going to move from Guardiolaism to something else now. But
Something.
we're
Yeah.
just in this
Exactly.
weird brief period where only set pieces, long throw-ins, pace and power. These are the things that's taking over.
By get
Yeah.
Harry Redknapp back, I think we are talking about Harry Redknapp being a
Proper.
big Sam, and I
No.
still remember Wenger used to shit his pants बिग सैम
Yeah,
के
yeah.
बोल्टन
Oh
के
my
सामने खेलने का
God. Harry
डायरेक्ट.
Redknapp, Sean Dyche, Tony Pulis,
Yeah,
whenever these guys used to come into town, it was curtains. Sam Allardyce.
Yeah,
It was
and
curtains
that,
for them.
exactly.
yeah, and that Sam Allardyce की जो उसकी बिग सैम की जो बोल्टन थी, I think, oh my God,
Yeah,
JJ
yeah, yeah.
Okocha, Kevin Nolan, and you know, but we are kind of used to seeing this also because Daksh, Arsenal, unlike in EPL, you see a lot of low blocks, and
Yeah,
Milan are absolutely struggling, Daksh, against a low block team. But
this
Param Inter is just squashing them apart. So Param, मेरा question
this
था, this
हाँ.
generally for you, this low blocks, Inter have kind of found a way. So
Hmm.
Arsenal kind of don't play a low block, but they have such an amazing defensive shape.
Hmm.
Param,
Hmm.
they're so amazing. You'll see Calafiori making runs.
Exactly.
You'll see their wing backs, like their centre backs, also so aggressive. So Inter are kind of used to playing teams like this more or less because
Hmm. Hmm.
Italian
Hmm.
setup thoda kind of similar रहता है
हाँ,
over the
हाँ.
years. And Chivu
Hmm.
has of course played in legendary Inter
Hmm.
lineup पे. So
Hmm.
do you think
Hmm.
कि वैसे तो आर्सेनल के लिए भी difficult रहेगा and Inter, okay, they Inter are aware of what Arsenal are going to bring today.
सी एक एक चीज बोलूंगा यार, ये लो ब्लॉक्स का चीज एक बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट आपने लाया, बिकॉज आपने जैसे बोला लाइक अगेंस्ट लो ब्लॉक्स, लाइक हाउ एसी मिलान है फॉर एग्जांपल ड्रॉप पॉइंट्स दिस सीजन, लास्ट ईयर अगेन I keep on talking about this Inter last season, for example, we dropped a lot of points against teams that were playing that because we still in this squad we do not have many players or enough players, I would say, who can beat their man. It's as simple as that. Simple. At least आपके पास, like, you have like a profile like Rafael Leao. Now he has different issues of consistency. That's a different thing and whatnot. You have Pulisic who can take his man on. We at present at least have Bonny who can do that, and I'm just thinking who else. Luis Enrique who can do that, and yeah, pretty much nobody else who can take his man on essentially and beat his man at least
Hmm.
in a high quality manner. मतलब करने के लिए तो कोई भी कर सकता है, but हाई क्वालिटी और कंसिस्टेंटली है नहीं ऐसा कोई और प्लेयर ये दोनों को छोड़ के जो कर सकता है. एंड लास्ट सीजन दिस इज द इशू वी फेस, लाइक लास्ट सीजन व्हेन teams came in against us with a low block, we struggled whether it was in the league or in the Champions League. To answer your question, in the Champions League this season, if Arsenal try to, like, and we know how Arteta sets up, if they try to set up as they do defensively, we will struggle because again there are only two players in this squad who can properly beat their man consistently. That is Bonny and Enrique. And Bonny is going to start from the bench, and
Hmm.
Enrique is low on confidence. A. So
Today is
this
going to gain a lot of confidence against Miles.
sorry.
Today is going to gain a lot of confidence against Miles Lewis Kelly.
I don't know about that, but maybe the other way around. But point being, देखो यार चिंतन भाई, like, we know how to beat these low blocks in the league because we have that certain quality to do that, and the way we switch play is very quick. If you see how
Yeah.
we switch flanks from one pass to another, and
Hakan
how
is
we
very crucial for that.
Hakan, exactly.
Yeah.
Hakan, and how we counter, especially like जो हमने उस दिन, if you saw Inter Napoli, the first goal we scored against Napoli, the lead we took, right,
Yeah.
where we scored on the transition, like how Zielinski absolutely
Won the
floored
ball.
McTominay. Yeah, McTominay. He passed it to Thuram. Thuram with a back heel to Di Marco, and Di Marco scores it. So point being, we are very very quick with picking out our passes. We are very efficient with picking out our passes. We are very efficient.
Daksh has many fans, of course.
Yeah, a lot of fans. Yeah. So point being, we are very quick in deciding and passing that ball. But if you clog out the half spaces, we will struggle a bit. That is the reality of it. And again, this goes back to the point where I said कि Chivu को आपको समर में तीन और player देने थे. You had to give him a Lookman type player. You had to give him a Manu Kone type player, if not those two, and you had to give him a centre back. Chalo, at least you got in Akanji, but you got him as a replacement for Benjamin Pavard. You did not get him as an addition. So that
Yeah.
is the issue. And so for me, Chintan, this will be tougher. This will be tougher if they do their prime defending, like they are on their game is my point, or rather. And like I'm only just trying to think how, because Zielinski again, he's in great form, and जैसे आपने हाकान का बोला, the quick switching, Zielinski will do that. Even in this last weekend when we played Udinese, who gave the pre-assist for the goal? It was Zielinski with a quick pass. So
Hmm.
point being, Zielinski will have a key role, but अगर Arsenal उसको nullify करती है, because defensively he is prone to losing the ball, then I'm just thinking who, because then आपका creative outlet बनता है Dimarco, Pastoni, and yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of proper creativity. And
Hmm.
like if Lautaro drops deep, uh, Abhijay,
Abhijay, by the Daksh, he's the biggest Arsenal fan, but the biggest
yeah,
troller. and he loves trolling with Param yaar. But
Yeah.
before we move on, this one guy brought up a very interesting topic, I would want to address, and I think you guys should do it. We
Hmm.
have Flame 24. Would you say Barcelona has always been a starting point to defining the way football is played, and maybe a new
Mm,
style might come from there again, especially in modern football? Yeah, at least I would like to say first, यार ये Barcelona का तो ऐसा नहीं है कुछ, because I remember the late 80s and Milan
Hmm.
की Arrigo Sacchi was probably the one which kind of not invented, but yeah, Klopp का जो inspiration था gegen pressing का was come from there, and this high press उधर से आया था. But yes, Barcelona are blessed with a amazing
yeah.
youth academy and coaches coming from there. Daksh, what is your opinion on this?
No, I think it's not going to be radically different from Guardiolaism. I think it's going to be Guardiolaism adjacent. I don't think it's going to be a
Yeah.
flick style run and gun, because I don't think a lot of teams can also do that
Yeah,
to
it's
that
not that.
extent.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
it's a very interesting style of football. It's one which very few coaches actually follow. I think Flick follows it really, really well. I'm sure there must be some in the Bundesliga who follow it really, really well as well. Um, Very famously, and Barca fans hate this comparison, but Ange Postecoglou is also one of those
Yeah.
managers who follow that, attack, overlaps, rotations, and all those things. I
Mm,
think it's actually the manager who I see actually bringing the next iteration of football is probably going to be Vincent Company, which is extreme rotations in build up and middle in the forward line, intense man to man, man marking and everything. Matlab, he is essentially the current football meta pushed up to the maximum, where you have, and he's also blessed with some really technically good players. So
Yeah, yeah.
if I think if you really want to watch what the next iteration of football is going to be, you should watch the Bayern Arsenal game, because I think Company put up an insane masterclass in the first half in
Oh
that game.
yes, yes, yes. First half was
mm.
completely. Yeah,
Yeah.
Daksh, another question for you here. If Arsenal rotates today, who would want as a playmaker?
I don't think we're going to play as a traditional playmaker. I think we're going to have essentially people who play within. It's going to be wing play. Our entire purpose will be to get Saka those 2 to 3 seconds of space and him making something, which means centrally there's not going to be a playmaker. All the playmaking will come from the wings. I think there'll be two finishers in the team, which is Martinelli and probably whoever is the forward. Saka's going to take on the creative playmaking. Maybe if Zubimendi plays him, but if you're talking like for like number 8 kon khelega, then it's going to be Eze. I think he needs minutes and everything. So I think it's going to be Eze in this game. Yeah. And he's a Champions League player. I think he'll be very interesting. And he's uske liye bhi bhai, first time he's going to play continental football, especially against Inter. So uske liye bahut acha hoga. But yeah, I think Eze is going to be there. I'd be very surprised if Odegaard is playing. I think Arteta would trust Odegaard against Manchester United more.
परम तू इसका जवाब दे दे भाई. Inter's weakness under the new management.
Yeah. अगर
मेरे को
if he's
I would like to give my 2 cents यार. पहली बार इंटर का वीकनेस सबसे बड़ा वही था that they did not buying a center back. I think was a
big
colossal
problem,
Hmm.
big problem because
colossal.
you essentially said हमारे दो center back होंगे Francesco Acerbi and De Vrij, and both are good. It's not that they're bad players. Problem is age is catching up. It's as simple. Like Acerbi is 37 now, and last season not many people know. He said this after the season. He was playing with a groin injury for 90% of the season. He played through it, and that was at the age of 36.
Why he pocketed Haaland last season? Like,
Exactly.
last season pocket क्या था?
And that is one of our best defenders. Like he might not have the pace, but he has the know-how, the intelligence, and that old school kind of defending mentality. But he was playing at 90% fitness, and this season again, you can see he's physically regressed a bit, which is natural. He's 37. Stefan De Vrij, he's lost his starting spot. He barely plays also. Like even as a backup, Stefan De Vrij barely plays, and there was rumors that we would probably in the whole Cancelo deal, we would do like a separate swap with Al Hilal so that he can get back into the Dutch national team. But point being again, defense is definitely a weakness because आपको simple logic थी, आपको जाके center back खरीदना था, आपने arrogance से वो जाके किया नहीं because you keep on saying in the media we are fine as we are. And look, I know they let Pavard go because of his some of like minor off field issues, not that serious, but Pavard का हमेशा वो एक ना कहीं तो commitment issues होते हैं जो अभी apparently मार्से में भी हो रहे हैं, थोड़े डेजर्बी थोड़े issues है. So point being, ठीक है, I understand that, but you should have still gone out and signed a replacement because you remember Chintan Bhai, who was our target, Giovanni Leone, and obviously he's out with ACL. But again, there was a reason why we wanted Leone. Why he was there. We were battling with Liverpool. Obviously, financially, आप compete नहीं कर सकते. But if you were, again, logic being, if you were ready to spend 45 million on Ademola Lookman or more, And if you knew Lookman deal is not happening because Atalanta is not budging, you scrap that deal, you go sign the centre back, spend that 35 million and get Leonida. Simple as that. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
arrogance, that stupid, not stupid, like just ignorant decision making. Uh, so that's the weakness. Again, that is one area Arsenal can target. But luckily, Chivu, again, as I said, he's smart. He found a internal solution. उसने क्या किया? उसने simply Akanji को center back पे डाला. Akanji initially, if you watch the season, Akanji was playing right center back, and Bisek was on the bench, and Acerbi Devray kept on playing the center back role. But because of injuries and a few tweaks, he put Akanji in the middle, and he said, "चलो मैं Bisek को right पे खिला दो because Bisek anyways उधर खेलता है." And Akanji is comfortable in the middle, and Bisek is comfortable out wide because he likes to drive with the ball. He gets that space. So that has been a blessing in disguise. But again, I was saying in January you had to go out and sign a center back, which they will not do. And वो समर तक ही करेंगे वो लोग, basically वो करने नहीं वाले वो लोग. So that is the weakness, Arush. To answer your question, if you strictly are asking tactically, I won't get into the further details. Maybe some other stream we can talk about if whatever other weaknesses you want to ask. But tactically, squad building wise, my main issue has been not signing a center back. I've said this since pre-summer. Chintan Bhai knows it, and I was very annoyed with that basically because you had to get a center back this summer.
Before
Yeah.
we move to the final lineup, Daksh, one more question. Any particular, this current Inter, of course, is a different Inter after the PSG loss. According to you, any players to look out for your Arsenal fans, or any player you would keep an eye on?
Yeah, I think you can't really say that, it's like, of course it's a different style of play and everything, but there's still players and in that team. I'd start right from the goalkeeper. I think Handanovic is capable of making some blockbuster saves. Even if you feel you have a very good chance of scoring, I think Handanovic is really, really good. Not Handanovic, what am I saying? Samar.
Summer. Yes, sir.
हाँ, मेरे को क्यों
No, old
Handanovic
school
पता नहीं क्यों याद आया था. I was like,
भी अच्छा ही था.
Handanovic कहाँ से आ गया? But Jan Sommer is really, really good in that sense. Of course, Hakan's going to be a big miss. But Zelensky is really, really good. Akanji, as Param said, has been in really, really good form. I'd be very interested to see if he's playing CCB or if he's on like the wing to stop Saka as well. मेरे को वो देखना पड़ेगा on what side he's going to be playing in that defense, if he's going to be playing. Because अगर Acerbi आता, I think Acerbi is going to play center back if he's in the lineup.
If he plays, yes, he will play there because
Yeah.
out wide he'll get destroyed.
Yeah, you don't
Out
want
wide,
him.
he'll get
You don't want
destroyed,
him out wide.
No,
Because
he'll get destroyed.
Because I think if you think about it, right, I think the sort of strategy they did apply against Lamine Yamal last season,
Yeah,
of course, which was like DeMarco will also come back, and I think Bastoni bhi help karega, to basically stop that wing threat. मुझे लगता है यहाँ पे साका के लिए भी अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. DeMarco and Akanji work together essentially to negate Saka's threat. So I think in that sense it's a very good team. Lautaro, obviously, man, the guy is very, very clutch. He is one of my favorite strikers. I don't know. He just doesn't come into the imaginations of people when we talk about the best strikers in football right now. You get the Kanes and the Haalands and the Mbappes, but I think his consistency is anyways just very, very underrated. And of course, bhai, Barella, one of my favorite players. I think like they have a very good player in every part of the pitch, and that just makes them very, very dangerous. So that is my thing. Like Arteta is the sort of guy. As a fan, I want him to make wholesale changes. I want him to throw this game. I don't care. कुछ नहीं होगा. हम एक भी गेम नहीं हारे हैं चैंपियंस लीग में. But Arteta is this kind of guy who'll look at this Inter team. He'll figure out, he'll know कि वो लोग strong जाएंगे, and he'll be like, this is going to be a good test for Arsenal. Let's see where we actually are. And he'll actually put out a strong lineup. मतलब he'll rotate a little bit, but जो team भी जाएगी ना, एक बहुत strong lineup होगी यार. So for example, like I just hope he understands and he sees that Liverpool game. कि उस गेम में लिवरपूल 4-4-2 खेली थी, how those two up front in Ekitike and Isak caused a little bit of problem, how good Szoboszlai was, and I hope we go for like a very smart sort of lineup where Merino and Havertz somehow like up front, find themselves up front in all the rotations and everything, maybe Martinelli, because you can't play your usual way and hope to dominate this Inter team. I think Chivu is too smart for that.
I think Daksh, you need to stretch Inter को stretch करते हैं ना, like the more you stretch them, probably the more space.
Yeah. Rotations तो बहुत होगी. I think we have adopted. I think this is something that Arteta started picking up from last season when we played Atalanta in the Champions League, which was when we saw an extreme iteration of what man-to-man really was.
Oh, amazing.
That time,
I'll never forget Daksh who Rice ने भी interview that I've never seen this kind of man-to-man marking because a defender followed him up to his own box.
Yes.
And Gasparini probably is a master at it. Like it's amazing. You don't see that in modern football nowadays with the whole zonal marking situation.
I think that game and the Inter game, even against Inzaghi, we were man-to-man marked and closed off pretty much every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
I think that is the sort of thing that really convinced Arteta to move away from hybrid zonal pressing to more towards man-to-man. Now we also do full man-to-man.
Yeah,
Matlab,
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
see Saliba following the striker or the midfielder, whoever he's supposed to mark, right to the opposition box.
Oh,
So we also do all of that stuff. And he's taken the good parts from what company's football is about rotation. So you'll find Timber playing number 9, you'll find Zubimendi in the box. So we've taken like the best from what we faced defensively and what we faced
Yeah,
offensively. And I
yeah.
think that's what we've taken from. So as fans, we'd like to see rotations, bro, but I think we'll go for a pretty strong lineup still.
Param, before we go to lineup, your threats, like who do you think as a threat from
From the
this
Arsenal,
Arsenal team? Yeah,
from the
Arsenal
Arsenal.
किसका थ्रेट? या मैं तो तेरी जगह पे होता ना, सब लोग स्ट्राइकर का नाम लेते मिडफील्ड, मैं तो गैब्रियल का नाम लूंगा भाई. कॉर्नर मिला भाई साहब, नहीं चाहिए वो.
Declan, I
Exactly,
think, yeah.
exactly. I agree with that. See, because this is funnily enough, obviously Arsenal are good at set pieces, but so are we in a way. Like if you
Yeah.
know, Inter also score a lot of set pieces goal. But again, this season defensively हम लोग थोड़ा और vulnerable रहे as compared to last. And I was about to say Gabriel only because like you can't kind of rest on that. And this season, if you see, we've scored some we've conceded some casual goals of set pieces, like not just set pieces, but even like looping crosses against Napoli, for example. Which was second, like the equalizer Napoli scored. It was not off a set piece, but point being, it was a looping ball in, and all this Chivu's coaching staff we've got, they're trying to implement this kind of zonal marking only system, which is kind of hampering our gameplay because we get too lost in the zonal marking things. Like the players are fully not used to it. Chintan mein abhi bhi samajh rahe
Yeah.
ki kaise karna hai. So
Exactly.
that's where kind of this transition with this new coaching staff has not been the smoothest in set pieces at least. So that's why again I was about to say Gabriel anyways, because ab बोलने के लिए तो Saka भी बोल दूं बोलने के लिए, because they have a fantastic team at the end of the day. And again Declan Rice, how do you even exclude him? Like he's one of my favorite players out there as well. So point being, but I'll still pick Gabriel because if I match it to one of our weaknesses, which is defending set pieces or keeping a clean sheet also in general, ये मेरा एक problem है. Like last 2-3 goals पे ऐसे ही Barella just has slept off. If not Barella, someone else like a Bastoni, whatnot. So I would definitely say Gabriel. And I mean, I think there was a question here which I just wanted to quickly answer. Like एक चीज ये मुझे बोलना था. Like Barella is a fantastic player, but as I said earlier in the stream, he's completely burnt out, man. Like if you go
Oh,
back
yeah,
and
yeah.
if you see his record of how many games he's played ever since he was at Cagliari at the age of 18-19, week in week out starting games, no rotation absolutely. Comes to Inter week in week out, plays with a thin squad, burns himself out, and it's natural, it happens at times. Like he's not been the prime Barella we've known. He's still good. He's very good, but he's not the prime Barella I've seen. Like, and it's sad to see because he's a fantastic player on his day. Like any Serie A watcher will be able to say this, and that's why
Amazing.
his future is in this number 6 role because he can sit deep. He's learned that role now from Hakan, and he can ping in balls, whatnot, and he can dictate the play. Number 8, he's kind of lost it. He's not the same anymore. Maybe who knows? Today in the future again he can revive his form, but as of today it looks difficult. So he's a great player, but he's not in his prime. His prime was maybe over a year ago, I would say.
भाई ये क्या है? आई एम एन इंटर फैन कम लिवरपूल क्लब फैन, ओरिजिनली आर्सेनल फैन. अरे
ये
भाई
ट्रोलिंग है
साहब
भाई,
यार.
ये ट्रोलिंग है.
I
ये
hope it is
ट्रोलिंग
trolling. अच्छा
It has to
cocktail
be
है यार
trolling
ये.
भाई. This is trolling. This is trolling.
But I would like to give my 2 cents. I think for Daksh, whenever I see interplay and when Baston is trying to cross in the ball and assist deta hai, matlab, it's very rare. You see in a centre back crossing in, and Declan Rice here, whatever you say, so it absolutely amazing. An English midfielder excels in every single role. But my favorite player from Arsenal has to be Zubimendi. I've been a
Oh
fan
my
since
God, yeah.
his social days. Kya ball control. And if you remember Daksh in the final against England, क्या कंट्रोल किया था उसने गेम को.
After Rodri went off, everyone was like, "Khatam Spain, khatam ye, khatam wo, khatam."
क्या बॉल. एंड ऑफ कोर्स आर्सेनल
Yeah.
बहुत, ईपीएल इज जनरली अ वेरी हाई पेस्ड, the league is high paced, and Arsenal, you give him times, calm down the balls he can thread, and the control he has,
Yeah.
he can slow the tempo down. Absolutely brilliant. What a steal. I feel Zubimendi किधर भी नहीं गया था, and Arsenal getting him, I was थोड़ा happy
You
that he
were
went
very
to
happy.
Arsenal. It didn't come
Yeah.
anyways, but what a great player, man. And so
Yeah.
Daksh, before we end, what according to you will be Arsenal's starting 11?
I will just simultaneously also pull up what some reports have said.
Quote
So
more.
well, Dakshbhai
Cool,
gives
cool,
his
cool.
starting 11.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I honestly
So
think, yeah.
this
Okay,
is as per
let
Sky Italia. So this is as per Sky Italia. So I'll just pull up Arsenal first because yeah, Dakshbhai, if you think this is what it is going to be, or will there be changes to
आसिफ
this?
मुझे बायर्न दिखा रहे तो
Yeah, that's just so they took a screenshot saying ki the that's a typo. I think if I'm not wrong from Sky
yeah,
Italia,
yeah, this is
whatever.
a typo. Okay, yeah.
It's a
Hmm.
typo. Yeah, correct, correct. It's a typo. But yeah, whatever. Dakshbhai, you can go ahead.
I'd say Raya definitely starts. I think
Hmm.
Miles will start. I think Gabriel Saliba can start. I won't be surprised if Mosquera comes into the lineup for this one as well.
Wasn't he
Um,
injured?
That's been,
he's back. He's back. He's back. He was on the bench in
Okay.
the last game as well, against Forest. Timber, I would love for him to get rest, but feels like a game where Timber will play. In this defensive line, Miles needs to have a good game because
hmm,
Henrique is
hmm,
somebody who has good raw pace, and he struggled against raw pace when Frimpong was playing. So that is somebody I'm looking at. I'd be very disappointed if he actually played Timber left back and Ben White right back. I think that's just bad squad management. You should
hmm,
take. I understand Lewis Kelly is not in the greatest of forms, but play him.
hmm.
Rice should be there. I would not be surprised if it's actually Merino, Rice, and Eze in the middle. And
Okay.
instead of Eze at left wing, Martinelli or Trossard में से कोई होता है. I think Gabriel Jesus will get a start in this game.
Hmm,
And I think Saka will be there. Yeah, I think this is pretty much what we're probably going to go for. I think Merino will play this game for sure. I would put Eze in the midfield, probably take out Zubimendi because I think Zubimendi needs a little bit of a break before Manchester United. Um,
hmm.
and I think we can be okay. We can bring him on, but you never know with Arteta. This could actually be the full lineup we go for, and this is a pretty strong lineup. Matlab,
Wow,
Yeah.
this is
this
like
and I'm calling this a
क्या strong
rotated
lineup.
lineup still, like still a
Yeah.
60% rotated lineup, I'd say.
Wow,
Hmm,
man. Like first of all, मेरिनो को तो क्या है परम इन्होंने यूज किया है. मतलब मेरिनो
exactly.
नजारियो लगता है मुझे उसका नाम वो करते हैं.
I call him Mikel Merino Nazario, man.
अरे भाई
He's
क्या
absolutely an
मतलब
intelligent footballer,
very
and
Hmm,
intelligent.
yeah, and he is going to, if he starts and plays, I think he's going to be a very important player. Like set pieces, mein dekho, I say in Premier League ka set pieces ka level is absolutely mad. Matlab Liverpool is
Yeah,
one of the worst set piece performing teams in the Prem, but in the Champions League, they absolutely dominate in set pieces.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
hmm,
yeah.
They have one of the highest set piece winning and first contact percentages in the Champions League. And हमारा तो मतलब astronomical है. We
hmm,
bothered, I think, Atleti with it. I remember post that Bayern game, both Kimmich and Neuer were basically like, कि like ये तो सिर्फ long ball, long ball, long ball, long ball, long
हाँ,
ball करते रहते हैं. We really annoyed Kimmich at that point of time. But it is what it is. We bothered Neuer. I remember the first goal we scored against Bayern was also from a set piece.
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
जहाँ पे Timber did this very smart thing where he was like getting to the front post and he nudged Neuer a little bit. And Neuer का जो भी ball claiming वाला था, his momentum got a little bit distracted and that's it. He ended up winning the header and that's it. That's how he scored the first goal. So set pieces will definitely be there. It's our strength. It's an overwhelming strength, I would say.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we
yeah.
will definitely lean into that. Especially, when Dumfries is not there,
Hmm, hmm.
especially if you're compromised
Exactly.
for height.
Exactly.
So when players like that are not there, Sommer isn't the tallest keeper as well. You'd want to maximize all of that, bhai. You want to
Hmm,
maximize those set pieces, wala thing. And listen,
hmm.
you get a 1-0, you play the game in second gear,
Absolutely.
you go back home. It's a good thing, bhai. Keep you 100% top. Then you're finishing first in the Champions League, no matter what. Um, and that's a good thing to take and onwards to the Premier League then.
Yeah. Param, let's move to the Inter lineup.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Yeah,
Are
I
we
think
going to
this
see a
is
way?
yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
this
what
is
you
it.
will
Yeah,
mostly this is what you'll mostly see because from the Inter side of sources also they reported this. देखो कोई surprise नहीं है Zomer starts in goal because he is your number one. While he's not been as good as last season, उसमें dip रहा है. He's made weird fumbles this season, so that is one thing to keep an eye out on. Players take a long shot at him and you know that there is a chance he may fumble. So he's not the Sommer of last season. थोड़ा regression चालू हुआ है. But he is your first choice goalkeeper. Then, as I said, you'll have Bastoni, Bisek, Akanji, which has to be the back three in such a
yeah,
game where you have such dynamic attackers. Especially if we see that's the predicted 11 for Arsenal. Definitely, this has to be the back three. Wing backs पे Dimarco has found his form back. जो मैं बार-बार बोल रहा हूँ, he's been in top-notch form, world-class form, which we've known for. So he will definitely start on the left. Luis Enrique, again, he's Denzel Dumfries' backup. He will play, but again, he's not moving the needle either way. Like His bad performances have just become stable, and that's it. He's not like, he's still a very shy player, and even at Marseille में वो जब था Deserbi ने बोला था to get, he's a very personality oriented player. Like you have to kind of work very closely with him to get the best out of him, and उसको time लगेगा, and I don't think it'll happen against Arsenal, to be honest. Yeah, he's a bit more direct than Dumfries. He's a bit better technically than Dumfries, I would say, because Dumfries is not the most gifted technically. और वो जैसे दक्ष भाई ने बोला, he's a bit more pacey and he'll make more runs, but again, for that you need a confidence which he does not have right now. Midfield trio will be as shown again. As I said, Hakan नहीं है तो Zielinski and Barella will alternate in that number 6 role. Zielinski will not be the sole player there. This has been the case before. वो दोनों rotate करेंगे number 6 role में, as should be the case. They have to rotate because Zielinski, as I said, is not the most sound defensively. And again, मैं Napoli game का reference लूँ, while he did floor McTominay, when McTominay scored the when after McTominay scored the first goal, there was also a moment where McTominay floored him. So again, physically he's not the greatest. So Barella again will play as expected. Sucic, he's a great talent, but off late thoda dip hua hai, like he's played less, thoda just competition being there, whatnot, and thoda form mein dip hua hai, but fantastic talent. He started the season very well. He can play as a 6, as an 8. For those who have not watched him, he's a very intelligent player, very highly sought talent who was wanted by many clubs. Chintan bhai knows this. So वो start कर रहा है. I'm very happy to see. Like Mkhitaryan, again, great player, obviously ex-Arsenal, Daksh bhai, and he's just come back from an injury. He played, but the thing is, we needed Mkhitaryan to get relegated to this bench role because उससे भी एज अभी थोड़ी कैच अप हो गई है. एंड one thing with Mkhitaryan है ना, आप उसको कितने पास से भी शूटिंग दो ना, क्लियर कट चांस दो, he will miss it. He's just lost.
मैं उल्टा ही बोलने वाला था. जब हाकन होता है ना टीम में, I see Inter taking a lot more long range shots, and that's something which we don't usually face as Arsenal. We usually face crosses, we'll face like runs and stuff. So long range shots मेरे को देखना पड़ेगा कि Inter actually कितनी लेती है. Also very interesting to see like DeMarco actually कितना आगे आता है, and he'd probably be against Timber in that side. तो मेरे को वो भी देखना पड़ेगा कि डिमार्को का इस टीम में क्या रोल होता है.
Yeah, and so coming back to that कि the strikers again, Thuram gets back into the starting 11. Last 2 हफ्तों से Pio Esposito has been playing because Thuram again is kind of out of form. Like मेरा वही issue है with him कि तुम उसको 1-2 push दो, he just gives up on the chase, he loses the ball very easily, which Bonni and Pio Esposito at the moment do not. So personally, again, I would have preferred, if you wanted to give Pio Esposito rest, I would have played Angio and Bonni, because as if again, for those who have not watched him, he's literally like a mini version of Marcus Thuram. His playing style is exactly the same style. Just he's right now, as of now, he's more confident, he's more driven, and you want those players in a good moment to play. And Lautaro के बारे में मैं एक ही चीज बोलूंगा, अगेन जैसे दक्ष भाई ने बोला, क्रिटिसाइज करने के लिए तो लोग बैठे ही रहते हैं भाई, but he's close to becoming Inter's 3rd all-time top scorer. Like that's all I have to say. Like, and that's not an easy feat. You had Mauro Icardi. He was a bench player to Mauro Icardi. He surpassed Mauro Icardi by a mile. So he's about to become Inter's 3rd all-time top scorer. I just like, again, there was news before the game that he trained separately for a very short amount. So I want to see if he's fully 100% or not, because again, this guy plays every game.
Yeah. I remember before the Barca game also, he was predicted to be out last season.
He was 50%. He played at 50%. He said, even if I'm 50%, I'm going to go out and play. He was playing on like half his foot was injured, but he's like, मेरे को जाके खेलना है, and he got subbed off at halftime, if you remember. He's like, I have to play. Like, he's that kind of a player, and these kind of players you want.
Almost like, on a penalty also, no, in that game, or was it the other
exactly leg? Yeah, exactly. And he did win in the return leg anyways, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, ये वाला lineup देख के ना, like Param Chintan, it's very interesting because we play essentially with a 3-man midfield. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, it's going to be those 3 in the middle. But I think Lautaro will also drop in a lot. And he'll make up the numbers. Yeah, he'll drop in a lot. He'll make up the numbers. He'll probably hold up the ball really, really well. He'll probably be... अब मेरे को देखना पड़ेगा whether Declan is given the responsibility to take care of him or whether it's Zubimendi. Because when he holds the ball, either Enrique or DeMarco or somebody in the midfield is going to go. It's going to be it's going to be a really interesting game, bhai. It's going to be a really interesting game.
We have Nidhi and
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
This should have been last year's finalist. Actually, I was rooting for this final last year. Actually,
yeah.
But I think some लोग वही बोलते हैं कि football would have been dead if it was Arsenal. Yeah, but guys, come on. I would like to ask you, because we as
one thing quickly, Chintan, before you resume, just one thing. again, as Dakshbhai said, Lautaro will drop deep, and it's essential because his ball control and his technical ability is top notch. At times when he's exhausted, he will have those off days where he will lose the ball, whatnot. But as Dakshbhai said, him dropping deep, supporting Zielinski with, because just like we've been praising Harry Kane rightly so for playing so deep, like almost like a defensive midfielder, putting in that extra shift. This is exactly what Lautaro Martinez does as well, and I want to see it. It is imperative he does that because Arsenal के साथ टो जाने के लिए वो work ethic लगेगा. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And the hope
Why
is again,
that goal at
sorry,
Anfield is scored against Liverpool,
yeah,
Lautaro. What
Liverpool.
a
Yeah.
finish that was.
He is a
Param
very
bhai, but
he's a very instinctive player. उसका finishing,
yeah.
उसकी technical ability जो है, उसको तुम just a clear chance दो ना. At times he will miss those silly chances, but like when he's just not, he's freed his head and he just takes that shot ना. It's a peach of a goal usually. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's all I wanted to say.
क्या Param, please answer this question in one word. Lautaro better than
ये
Diego
यार ये
Milito?
क्या question पूछा है भाई?
No यार, मेरे लिए तो नहीं है. I think Diego Milito was a beast,
See,
but
this
yeah,
is
उसका
tough to
peak
answer.
कम था.
This is tough to answer because Milito was here only for what, a few seasons here, and Lautaro has been here longer already.
भाई
Obviously,
मिलिटो
Milito won the
चैंपियंस लीग
treble.
जिता के चला गया यार.
Exactly. But then Lautaro has surpassed him in the goal scoring department as well, right? But point being, obviously, different eras. I will still go with Milito, but it's very hard to pick this. I don't want to pick, but बोलने के लिए मैं Milito बोलूंगा because as you said, ट्रेबल जीता वो एक सीजन में आके कैसे तो अडेप्ट किया एंड ही केम फ्रॉम जेनोवा दैट टू अंडर गैस्पेरिनी सो yeah, I have to say Milito, but this is very tough. This is not like it's an easy pick for me, to be honest.
Why he's poking me.
Martinez needs tofu pa. But yeah, Daksh, before we finally end this, I would like to this one question now that I've got hold of you properly, and we as Calcio fans keep asked about Catenaccio and defensive football and whatnot. And now that, as you said, PL is kind of adapting in a ways, playing more direct. And as Arsenal gets a lot of flake, I keep hearing this. यार आर्सेनल बहुत बोरिंग फुटबॉल खेलती है. Did not अभी से टैग लगा दिया है दक्ष के they are not deserving champions just because ये narrative. Daksh, are you generally as a fan, of course you don't care, you want a title, but as a narrative Daksh, sometimes do you not feel like just एक बार YouTube चालू करके इनको आंसर दे दूं कि football is not supposed to play in one way only?
No, dude, I'll bro, if somebody of Erling Haaland's quality can be called a League 2 striker by Roy Keane, मतलब इसमें क्या है मतलब? See, people will always have something to say, and it doesn't really bother me. It's fine. I remember I was on Manas and Nidhi's stream today, okay? And people have these set narratives about teams, which you can't change unless something crazy happens. So, for example, City was an oil club without the Champions League for the longest time. You know, इतने पैसे खर्च के कुछ नहीं until they won the Champions League. Same with PSG, failed project, ये सब वो सब until they won the Champions League last season. Now they're everyone's wow, what an exciting team. ठीक है? So you have these narratives, and today when I was on Manas and Nidhi's stream, when they were discussing Arsenal Inter score prediction, सब लिख रहे थे -1, because this perception is already there that both teams will play exactly. defensive haram football, which is fine. Like, what can you really do? For me, I take it as a fact that we've asked as fans to the manager ki bhai, just get us over the line, just win. It's tough. There is Guardiola. Slot has won the Prem. It's a league where there's competitive spending. It's a league where there's amazing coaches. Just win. Just win us the league. It's been 20 plus whatever years. Just win us the league.
Exactly.
And he's figuring out win the league. And that's all I care for.
I just want to second your point, Daksh bhai. Simple cheese hai. Winning, again, to me is what counts as well. Look, Chintan bhai, you know this, Inter's entire, like the most successful period. Obviously, अब Jose Mourinho का treble के अलावा बोल रहा हूँ, because even that was on mainly defensive principles. But Inter's identity is oriented with Helenio Herrera, one of the greatest coaches of all time, who revolutionized Catenaccio style of play. अभी मैं डेप्थ में नहीं जाऊंगा, but उसके अंदर वो यूरोपियन टाइटल्स आए, some great players played. So point is, at the end of the day, वो जो चिंता में जो ये लोग जो बोलते हैं, अरे हाँ जो जैसे दक्ष भाई ने बोला, all those jokes, -1, all that nonsense. The thing is, there is proof, there is data to back that you play a certain way that suits you. At the end of the day, that is likely to yield results. And specifically, if I again mention the defensive side of things, again, you defend first, you're just kind of balancing out that act. And again, we reached these two Champions. Yes, we lost those two Champions League finals, but the path to reaching these two recent Champions League finals again was not overly defensive, because Simone Inzaghi अलग game खेलता, but it was to defend first, like someone like Unai Emery does. His ideology is not to just sit back and defend, but is to defend first and then identify various patterns in attack. what Simone Inzaghi did as well. He didn't win is a different story, but point is बोलने के लिए again, look, Arsenal have matured from last season exactly because of this reason. And again, for anyone who, again, mocking them and whatnot, Daksh Bhai should just show them the Champions League table. It's as simple as that. And
That's okay. Yeah, I remember when we were playing Atleti Madrid also, everyone was like, oh, खून से आंसू आ जाए, खून के आंसू आ जाएंगे, it's going to be a
yeah,
dead rubber game. We smashed them 4-0 भाई.
पेल दिया
and
भाई, पेल दिया उन लोग को.
And that's
वो
fine.
छोड़ो Atleti have not been playing the so-called thing they're
Exactly.
associated with for the last 2
People
years.
think it's going to be वो Falcao एक आगे खेलेगा, बाकी ये लोग डिपेंड करेंगे.
2 साल से अब वो लोग वैसा खेल नहीं रहे, मतलब तुम देखो तो सही भाई गेम.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, नहीं यार, it's crazy. But then जैसे मैंने बोला, like Chindan bhai, I know he has a soft spot for Arsenal, and as someone who's watched, I also again as someone who's
आज तो बहुत obvious है कि
आज
टीम
तो
को
fan
support कर रहा
बोला,
हूँ. But it is just first of all, chats, you please give us your predictions before I ask these gentlemen the prediction. एक चीज बोलता, बहुत funny चीज लग रहा है मुझे. I'm finding this so funny that here we are talking about defensive stability from an EPL, an Arsenal team which is known to play free-flowing, amazing, beautiful, attractive football, and we are talking about strikers to a Serie A team, which is supposed to be known for a defensive display, and but absolutely funny. Yeah, Daksh, of course I know this game is not as paramount as for Inter, but ego का सवाल है. Last time हराया था, तो I think इसे ego पे भी आता है ये.
That could actually be a big thing, I forgot about the whole thing. Arteta takes these defeats very seriously.
भाई मैं ले रहा हूँ seriously भाई. Daksh, मैं ले रहा हूँ ये seriously बहुत.
No, he takes it very seriously, these defeats and all. I think it's going to be a good game, man. We've not been generally good away from home, but in the Champions League, our record is actually impeccable.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'll
no, I was just saying, like, in the Champs, we've played 3 home, 3 away.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 4th away, the final away game, and we won all of them, right? Matlab, so I'll go for. I think it'll be a 2-1 to Arsenal. I'll go for a 2-1 Arsenal.
क्या लग रहा है परम? Will you be happy with a draw, or no, you want blood?
No, bhai, they will have to win.
अभी भाई 2 साल 2 बार अगर चैंपियंस लीग, मेरा वही था ना ये सीजन, जब मैं अपनी प्री सीजन प्रेडिक्शन दे रहा था, जब मैं बोल रहा था कि the goal for Inter should be top 4 round of 16 of Champions League, because I wasn't sure of what to expect from Chivu, although I had a basic idea. But now that we are playing well, and then that 2 finals, they just don't go away from your mind. You want to do well as possible. You want, because I know this team can hang with the big guns. Like, I know it's possible. It's just that they have too many brain fade moments, and this season, unfortunately, again, the same thing. We've not beaten, quote unquote, the big teams, or however you want to see it, subjective to people's definition. Finally, at least we drew a big game against Napoli, so you never know, maybe कुछ हो सकता है. But
prediction देना है, इतना diplomatic मत बन. Prediction चाहिए, थोड़ा मसालेदार prediction.
I feel this. I'll go optimist थोड़ा. I'll go 1-0 Inter. I'll be very bold.
Won't be surprised.
But
yeah,
that's my heart. My brain thinks a draw.
I also
we have a super chat.
It ends in a 1-1 or a 0-0 also, by the way.
I was just going to go for a 0-0, but we have a super love your channel 180 days for the World Cup.
Thank you for
बहुत excited.
बहुत time है, but yeah, I mean, just on that note, yeah, AFCON was fun. I mean, I know a lot happened that day, but as I watched the whole tournament, और बहुत मजा आया. But yeah, वो जो final था वो था. I'm sure all of us, I saw Daksh bhai's reel as well on it, and a lot happened. So yeah. Waiting for the World Cup.
Daksh का अभी जो animated कभी-कभी, of course, that is just his immediate reaction after the games, but his थोड़ा animated होता है, and the 2 Arsenal games जो हुए हैं उसके बाद उसके reaction तो बहुत ही है, like because his Nottingham Forest का game तो था, like Madueke and Martinelli firing line में थे बेचारे दोनों बंदे. But I agree with your sentiments. In a low block you can't. Martinelli, however great dribbler is, but थोड़ा brain dead लगता है मुझे.
In a low block, man, like it didn't really matter. It didn't really clock with me, because even let's say even when we brought on Saka and Trossard, ठीक है, and we brought on Gabriel Jesus, मैं कहता हूँ गोल मार भी देते. What would you do when Forest are finally getting out? How would you break behind their lines? You don't. Saka likes to ball on the feet. Trossard likes ball on the feet. Jesus likes ball on the feet. There is no outlet. So either you have one runner and one ball to feet player on the wings and whatever striker, or मतलब doesn't really make sense. So I would have preferred either Saka starting or Madueke starting with Martinelli starting or Trossard starting. मतलब ऐसी चीज होनी चाहिए कि at least when you're making subs and Forest are trying to get a goal and you're under pressure, you should have one outlet, somebody to throw the ball to who can run with the ball and gain territory. So that the lineup didn't make sense to me at all, man.
Yeah.
या तो भाई थोड़े चैट्स के रिजल्ट भी बोल रहे हैं 1-0
That's a lot
Arsenal.
of leaning towards Arsenal, more a 1-0, 2-1.
भाई
We
ये
have
रिजल्ट तो
4-0 तो भाई would be mad. But
but
I'll be honest, that Bayern game really gave me a lot of confidence.
fair.
That
yeah.
Bayern game, but that Bayern game, I was like, अगर ये हमने ये वाला निकाल दिया ना, this team will gain immense amount of confidence.
मैं
Yeah, of course.
मैं बस एक चीज बोलूंगा यार, if somehow we do beat Arsenal again, if that's a big if, I think that will be a big mental turnover. Like
For
sounds
sure.
like I'm stating the obvious right now, but Chintan, by having watched Inter this season, kind of fumble these key moments, fumble these big games, Daksh bhai, if we somehow beat you guys, I feel that will kind of be a big confidence booster for these players like Luis
Yeah,
Enrique.
yeah.
और फाइनली एक बड़ा गेम जीतना, फिर आगे जाके, बिकॉज अगेन बड़े गेम्स आने वाले हैं सेरिया में, ये वो भी. सो या आई मीन रिमेन्स टू बी
Yeah,
सीन. आई हैव माय डाउट्स.
I just hope we're just ready for this game because I think last time we got a good schooling from Inter. They rotated a lot. They weren't at the best, and still I felt we
Second
had
gear,
more.
yes. Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
I think, was amazing. Second gear, mein Arsenal were Hassel huffed and puffed, and Inter was second gear comfortable.
Yeah,
and as you
yeah,
said,
Yeah,
I think
that's what I was. जैसे दक्षिण जो बोला ना कि I'm sure Arteta will be out kind of for blood as well, because जो last season हुआ, I know social media में फालतू में fans के बीच में beefed out of nowhere. I don't know how that started, from where random beef between Inter and Arsenal fans, which I never understood.
I remember that.
Yeah, फालतू के झगड़े, मतलब मैं एक दिन ट्विटर खोला, मैं रैंडमली ट्विटर खोला और मेरा फीड पूरा पागल हो रहा है. क्या कहाँ से स्टार्ट, आई वाज ट्राइंग टू ट्रेस द
I
ओरिजिन. चिंतन
remember
भाई
somebody is,
मेरे को
yeah,
मिल ही नहीं
yeah.
रहा था. मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा था फॉर व्हाट रीजन आर दीस टू फैंस आर्ग्यूइंग. लाइक खेलो शांति से मैच और चलो आगे भाई. मतलब
I remember there's this Arsenal
ये
page.
सोच रहा हूँ भाई, एक तो मैं इंटर आर्सेनल के लिए इतना एक्साइटेड हूँ बिकॉज इट्स हैपनिंग आफ्टर एजेस, और ये फालतू की बीफ
Yeah,
आ गई है.
yeah.
मतलब it was insane यार, it was insane.
अभी there's some games going on ना. अभी कौन सा game चल रहा है?
या कायरेट अल्माटी एंड वो क्लब ब्रूज का
City
था.
are playing right now. Oh.
वो या सिटी का लेट था ना स्टार्ट, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. करेक्ट.
Oh, City are
Wow.
playing right now. Oh,
Yeah.
no, sorry. City versus Bordeaux is happening right now, and
Oh. बोर्डो
yeah.
या जस्ट स्टार्टेड. क्लब ब्रूज वन 4-1 against कायरेट. सो या
Club Brugge are a great team to watch, man.
भाई
यार,
डेहान
man,
स्टैनकोविच के बेटा ने आज भी बेल्टर मारा यार. इफ यू
Better,
डोंट
क्या गोल मारा या
किसका
क्या
किसका
क्या
गोल मारा?
Dejan Stankovic's son.
you remember Dejan Stankovic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know.
His
उसका
son
बेटा
also
कौन
is
है?
a very good footballer. He plays for Bruges. And
Really?
he's our academy player, and we have 2 buyback clauses on him. So the
Oh.
hope is he follows his dad's footsteps. Yeah.
Bruges
Yeah.
is actually a really good team, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Madueke absolutely killed them in that game.
Yeah,
What a
man.
banger he scored, man.
One more super chat. All three of you, which national team do you support? Daksh, we don't know which national team do you support, man.
I'm a
Other than-
I'm a
Okay.
Brazilian guy, dude. I watched
Oh,
the 2002
wow.
World Cup as one of my first.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my god, man!
Ronaldo, like who was your favorite player?
In Brazil right now,
Yeah.
or in general in
All time.
international? Nazario, maybe. I like that entire Brazilian team. You know, like Nazario, Cafu, Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
Arey, yeah, that Brazilian jersey. I'm still looking for that 2002 jersey with like the circular name, numbers, and everything. I just want that. Bhai. That entire Brazil team was my favorite. Otherwise, internationally, to bhai, matlab, there's way too many. I love Closer. I love Closer.
मेरा सिंपल आंसर इंडिया है, और इंडिया को देख के बाल झड़ गए भाई, और कुछ अच्छा नहीं है. जब तक आईएसएल स्टार्ट हो जाएगा, चिंतन भाई के पूरे बाल ग्रे हो जाएंगे. मेरे बाल
seriously, but it is back. ISL is back, guys. But yeah, I support Italian national team. Param likes the French national team, so it's a
Yeah, I'm not an
okay.
What's the scene? What's the scene? Have Italy qualified?
No, they're gonna
नहीं ना, अभी है ना उनका कुछ बचा हुआ ना
qualifiers
आयरलैंड.
है. Yes,
No.
आयरलैंड के सामने है, qualifiers है.
qualifiers है. but as you guys know, Italy have qualified for the Cricket World Cup for sure.
We saw Italy playing cricket before GTA 6. So
yeah. And England are playing Italy, so we have England versus Italy there in the Cricket World Cup. That's
Who is that Italian legend? Abhi I just saw his video. where he was like
Uh,
saying like I'd be the best cricket player if I.
Vieri,
Christian
Christian
Vieri
Vieri.
Vieri.
was it? Ah,
Yeah.
Vieri.
Because he so Daksh by the story is he wanted to become a cricketer because he's Australian Italian. So he
Ah,
wanted
yeah,
he
yeah,
used
yeah,
to
yeah.
cricket and he's like usko batting में अच्छा so crazy guy but yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
guys, Daksh, first of all, thank you so much for having you. And
No problem.
whenever I have a discussion with you, we can call you.
yeah,
हम लोग football nerds है. We can go into the depths of football,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
I
sure,
think
man.
काफी सारे Daksh public bore हो जाएगी, but we should have
No,
one
I love
session
it,
just
man.
talk about the nitty gritties and
Call me, bro.
football.
Call me. We can just have a long conversation on football and we can just वो नहीं होते जैसे कुछ लोग नहीं कहते कि बस इंस्ट्रूमेंट लगा के जैम करते हैं. It's just we
yeah,
हाँ
can
भाई.
always have that, man. We can always have that. I'm always up for talking about football.
yeah.
Yeah, man, perfect. And Param, of course, thank you, man. But I know you are going to be very nervous tonight, sleepless night, and Daksh, तो मतलब,
Hey,
but guys,
where is Inter right now on the table in the champs?
top of
Fifth,
Champions League में
fifth,
फिफ्थ पे है,
fifth,
फोर्थ या फिफ्थ पे है
fifth.
शायद.
Sorry, sixth below Atalanta.
Below
दो गेम
Atalanta.
हारे दो गेम हारे थर्ड से सिक्स्थ पे गिर गए भाई मतलब एटालांटा ने कैसे स्टार्ट किया था एंड देयर
Hey, but
परफॉर्मेंस.
Yeah,
you know, there's plenty of teams. Like for example, Barca are playing Slavia,
yeah,
Chelsea are
yeah.
playing Pafos,
Exactly. So
Dortmund, Liverpool का खैर बहुत मुश्किल मैच है. Atleti, a lot of teams can overtake you if.
exactly my point. Exactly. And today, tonight, that's the worry, right? That's a
Yeah.
possibility also. That's a possibility if you really think
Yeah,
about it.
but boss, you guys are talking to the future, their respective league champions over here. So you heard it here.
I
Crowned
think that
Italian
was aimed
champions
at
are going
Arsenal.
to.
That was aimed at Arsenal, not at Inter.
एक को मैं सेलिब्रेट करूंगा, एक में तो मैं दुख में रहूंगा. So Daksh, my go to thing will be to celebrate with you
Hey man,
guys
don't
the
lose hope,
league
bro.
champ.
It's a long season for you also, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. But I think Inter are kind of hungry and they will win something this season. But I hope at least Arsenal are the ones which go for the treble or the quadruple this season.
Oh, shut up, man. Just give me one. It's fine. मेरे को बस एक ही दो
नहीं भाई,
भाई.
FA कप कैराबाओ नहीं
Uh,
चाहिए भाई.
नहीं.
दोनों
Give me one of the Prem or one of the champs. I'll be happy, भाई. Give me one of those.
no, I just want to say thanks for coming on, Daksh, by taking the time. Always,
No
as you
issues,
said,
brother.
pleasure to chat
No
football,
issues.
and always like chatting football with people who have that experience from back in the day. बहुत मजा आता है and just a constructive chat, and
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be hopefully a clean game. I hope there is no refereeing errors and whatnot because the
No
standards
injuries,
of
man.
standard of
That's what I don't want. No more injuries.
exactly
bro.
the standard of
God
refereeing
forbid,
is quite poor these days. So hopefully there's none of that, and hope for a good game. Good luck to you, and
man. You too, man.
obviously
You too.
rooting for each other's each. But yeah,
Yeah, man.
thank you for coming on.
See you, man.
Anyways, chat. So good to have you guys. We'll get Daksh again. We'll keep getting him because you can never get enough of him and his football knowledge. So see you guys very soon. And till then, ciao.
Ciao,
Bye
ciao.
bye.